All right, yo, what is up, Furality? I've got my stepping stool, so I'm tall enough. Welcome to Furry Musicians from Hobby to Career. My name is CK9C, and I am so happy to be joined by so many of my friends today. To my left, we've got the Stupendium, Chi-Chi, and WhenSnakesSing. And to the right, we've got the illustrious Sal and Whispers. And we are going to be talking to you for about the first half hour of this about what it takes to grow your hobby as a musician into a career. And then we're going to be sourcing questions. So make sure if you've got a question for us to either leave it in the Twitch chat or in the thread, the Discord thread. That's what it's called. All right, let's get into this. We got some. Oh, wait. Now for videos. Okay, all right. We've got some videos that we're going to start off to introduce everyone. Let's see if they play.
We pray. One of these days.
Lorry, you got the videos going?
Let's go.
Oh, there we go.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was JT, otherwise known as WhenSnakesSing. Let's go. What? Next video.
Let's go! Oh, God.
Oh, is it Sal's video coming up?
Love it. It's pop, beat. Anyway.
Yeah, that was Sal.
Gotta love the improv. I love it.
Next up, we've got Whispers.
Ooh.
I hate that guy.
Konzerten vor tausenden Fans, aber keiner steht vor seiner Bühne, weil die Bühne ist in seinem Wohnzimmer.
Yeah! You did it.
I love Schwab stuff. Next up, we've got the amazing Chi-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
But did you know? You might have heard me on YouTube and have never even known it.
Oh,
check it out.
little stretch. Oh boy.
I love the artistic choice of the aspect ratio. So good.
Oh no. The unstretched version is on their TikTok.
It's a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know that game.
My friend isn't even the half of it.
Not even half of it.
Let's go!
So cute! I love it. Secrets.
Yeah!
Yes!
Woo! Oh, I love your content so much. And speaking of loving someone's content so much, I'm so excited that we have the Stupendium up next. Woo!
Hey.
Let's go!
Shoestring, string beat, beanbag, bagpipe, pipe bomb, bomber jacket, jackdaw, doorstop. Stop, no, please don't take my furniture. Stopwatch, watchdog, dog collar, Colorado, Adderall, Ezerol, seedfish, ping pong, poncho, choke chain, chainsaw, swordfish, shish kebab, bobcat. Do you want a carrot ox? Will you want to be a big shot? Don't you? Did you want to be that big thing? You can do it, listen to it, swing it, there's nothing to it. I can prove it, hear the registers ring. Ring, 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 ring. You're kidding. It's for you. Want to know a secret? Hyperlink
Awesome. That's sick. That's great.
Thank you.
Sal made a good point about that last video from Stupendium. It just tickles that part of the brain that we don't really know what we got.
Brain squeegers.
Okay. And last, I forgot to introduce myself. Hello, I'm next. I'm CK9C. One more video.
I hear a sound. See them in the dark. I know there's someone there. Why don't you believe me? Maybe you're right. But I heard a creak. I'm always quick to rage. What's that sound? I know someone's there. Hiding in the shadows, thinking I was unaware. Well, who's that I see? The birthday boy to be. Well, let's invite him over. Hurry up before he's bolder. Oh, blind, let me just run. You can't deter me this time, no, I'm done. I won't go back to my stage, it's my new trend. Well, let's go say hi to the new friend.
Let's go!
You did it. It was good.
Yes, and welcome again to Furry Musicians from Hobby to Career. We've got an exciting panel, so don't go anywhere. We're going to need your audience participation in the last half, so stick around. But we're going to start from the beginning and work our way to advanced. So for those who are just starting out with music and music production, we've got just what you need coming up first. Starting with picking your DAW. A DAW is a digital audio workstation. That's what you make music in. We all use different ones. I use Logic. What about you, Stoops?
I currently use Cubase.
Chi-Chi?
Use Logic and FL Studios for more of the production side of stuff.
And WhenSnakesSing?
I use Pro Tools.
Oh, a classic, a goodie. Sal?
I use Logic.
Logic. Yeah. And Whispers?
Seen it all, went with Reaper. Reaper boy.
Ooh.
A unique choice, but a great one. DAWs come in all shapes and sizes. You can use ones for free on your phone. If you don't have a computer that is powerful enough to run one, I started off writing on my phone with a little DAW called Machine. That's that icon right there, the little rainbow one. If you've got an iPhone, you have GarageBand for free. That is both on your computer and your iPhone. There are a plethora of apps and computer-based DAWs that you can use. Pick any. There's no wrong answer. Everyone's got their own different styles with them. They're really fun. So explore when you're starting off.
Definitely.
And speaking of gear, you don't need the best gear to make great content. I think we can all attest to that. We've all had our humble beginnings using what we could. I started off with a tiny little laptop I would borrow from my dad and some like $20 headphones. What was y'all's beginning like gear that you used? Starting with Stoops again?
My first setup was a very cheap USB microphone, and I thought I'd be fancy, and I stacked it up between a big pile of boxes and put towels over it and made a very impromptu booth. It still sounded awful, but I felt professional.
Feeling professional is half the battle. When you feel good in front of that mic, you're probably going to perform better.
Mood.
Chi-Chi, what about you?
My very first setup was my laptop mic. I had a little MacBook, and I had a laptop mic and GarageBand, and that's just how I started. Just going into it head first. That's what I got.
I love it. And you still have some of the gear from your first setup, right?
I do. Like I still have the old laptop. It's like over a decade old now, but I still have it. I still love it. It means a lot to me.
Heck yes. What about you, WhenSnakesSing? I love your setup.
Yeah, my setup, even though I've used it, I got it 10 years ago when I started music production. It's just a standard MacBook with a Shure SM7B microphone. The laptop's gone through hell. The screen no longer works. It overheats every 5 minutes, but I'm still using it to this day.
That's a trooper right there. You make do with
Heck
what
yeah.
you got, and dang does WhenSnakesSing make do. They make amazing content. What about you, Sal? What did you start off with?
I started off in my guest bedroom with a laptop, with my Mac laptop, and a Shure SM7B, and Focusrite.
A classic. Oh, a Focusrite. That's a little red box you'll see in a lot of studios. A great piece of hardware. Whispers, what about you?
I had a bit of an unconventional start. I had access to a lot of hardware gear, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, so I would like click all the buttons, and it sounded like shit. so then I learned how to use it, and now it kind of sounds good. Yeah.
You grew into it.
Heck yeah. We grow into our gear, and when you find that it's time to upgrade, then it might be time, but you don't need the best stuff to make great content. Whether it's on your computer or on your phone. A lot of my first sounds that I put out on my SoundCloud that are up to this day, I'm still really proud of, were made completely sitting on my phone, just doodling around on the machine app. All right. As a musician and as any creative can attest, inspiration can be hard to come by. So we're going to talk about what inspires us when we're struggling to find inspiration. Stoops, you want to go first?
Sure. So, I'm very easily inspired. I always want to be making things, but if I am ever finding it tough, knowing that the stuff I'm making is for people out there who are going to enjoy it is like a huge thing for me. I used to work at a job where I made animations for people who didn't want to watch them because they were boring and they were corporate. So getting to make stuff that I know there's people out there wanting to see is like the most inspirational thing I have for me going.
I love that. What about you, Chi-Chi?
Heck yeah. For me, usually it's whatever I'm hyperfixated on the time, whether it's a show, a book, or game. Whatever my hyperfixation is, that's what I usually draw from for inspiration. If I get into a rut sometimes, I just kind of throw stuff on the wall, see what sticks, and see what comes out of it.
Can't agree more. I do that way too often. What about you, WhenSnakesSing?
What inspires me, usually the people around me, honestly. I get inspired by seeing what other people are doing. I get ideas just like from other people's inspiration. I am inspired by other people's enthusiasms and stuff like that. But also, if I want to try and challenge myself and try a new sound and whatnot, sometimes that inspires me a little bit. But yeah, usually it's the people around me.
That's a great way of finding inspiration wherever you are. And Sal?
A lot of collaborations, a lot of working with people. That inspires me.
very easily can get cool ideas from work with other people. Also, like Stupendium said, just by myself, just making random stuff in my head, stuff that's probably sounds terrible, but to everybody except for me. But making music and just also as a way of therapy to find things in my head that I really want to focus on and delve more meaning into.
Oh, totally. My new album definitely about like that self-therapy through music. I feel that one, the bottom of my heart. Oh, yeah. And Whispers, what inspires you?
I write songs about love, relationships, and VR chat, so like stuff we're going through here, and I think a lot of people out there are going through. Because I feel like not a lot of people focus on that, and it's a super interesting topic, and that's why I try to get my inspiration from there, but also want to make the songs accessible to normies. So I don't want to go full furry degeneracy, like in the lyrics. I want to leave it open, like for the normies to understand. Yeah.
That's a great approach to it. And oh yeah, you were just saying, JT?
Oh, I just said good answer. Sorry, my bad.
Oh yeah. Want to make sure I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. Yeah, I find inspiration through consumption of media all too often. I'll be watching like a movie or playing a game, and I'm like, dang, I want to write right now. This is cool. I want to make something about this, or inspired by this sound or this feeling that I'm getting inside. And that's why I like to write nerdcore music. And shout out to my nerdcore musicians on the stage with me who often do the same. Woo! But you can find inspiration anywhere, whether it's through just being by yourself or being around people. But that leads us to the big question that all creatives struggle with. When is your creation finished? We all have different answers for this, and I love to hear everyone's questions. Everyone's answers. I'm sorry. Stoops, when do you know when your song is finished?
So maybe I'm a little unique in this one because I'm not a producer. I'm a lyricist and a vocalist. So I write my songs, I sing them, but I hire other musicians and producers to do the composing and the mixing. So generally it's finished when the budget for their time is expended. They'll send me a version. We'll go back and forth 5 or 6 versions. I'll give them notes, and sooner or later, either we're out of time or I'm out of money, and that's when it's done. But generally, I'm very happy with it by that point. So that's when it's finished. Yeah.
I love that so much. I wish that I had that approach. Oh my gosh, giving yourself a time limit and a budget, that must be an interesting way to work on all your projects.
What's a time limit?
It's quite nice to have an enforced limit. It's good to not get carried away.
Chi-Chi, how do you know when your song is done?
Usually when I'm sick of it. Usually when I don't want to touch it anymore and I'm just like, I'm done. This is it. I don't want to deal with this thing anymore. Just throw it out into the world.
That's valid. I think a lot of artistic people use that approach. They're like, okay, it's as good as it's going to get. Have it.
Yay!
What about you, JT? When do you know when a song is finished?
It's usually when I can't access the Pro Tools sessions anymore. My computer's given up, and the files get corrupted. And my last export is the final product.
That's an interesting way, but you gotta make do. That's what we were talking about earlier. What happens, and as a creative, you just gotta flow with it. But also try to follow the 3-2-1 rule. I'll inject that real quick. 3 copies in 2 separate discs and 1 in the cloud. That way, you'll always have backups of your projects. 3, 2, 1.
If only we lived in a perfect world.
Yeah.
And we all remembered to sort in every file and all that.
Staying organized, Sal.
Name your files things we'll remember later on.
It's okay, so it's okay.
So, one of the ways I one of the way when I know my song is finished is I'm very vocal heavy. I've been a vocalist for a very long time. So when my delivery is correct, when everything is like the melody is sound, when the lyrics make sense, and when the feeling is right, when like my vocals aren't too high in the mix, when everything else is like nice and comfy in that nice pillow bed area, that's a good sound. So.
Also, what about you, Whispers? How do you know when a song is done?
Oh, I know exactly when it's done. I do a lot of the audio production myself, so like my song is done when I've listened to it on my good speakers, then I move into my car, and it doesn't sound shit. Then I step into the shower, I listen to it on my Bluetooth speakers, it doesn't sound crap, that's good. And yeah, earphones, whatever, on my phone, and when I'm happy sonically, then I'm happy.
I love
Hell
that.
yeah.
I do the same approach. Being a writer, a singer-songwriter, and a producer, having studied music
Car
engineering
singing's
like
good.
Whispers, testing your mix on a range of speakers that people will often listen to. Don't forget headphones. Majority of listeners listen on headphones these days, and car. Mix your stuff on those. Make sure they sound good. If they sound good to you, then likely they are ready. I'm a perfectionist. I struggle to know when a song is finished. I'll often rewrite a song like half a dozen or more times, and it sometimes takes years for me to release a song because I'm always like, I'll come back to it and be like, nah, needs to be better. So I struggle with this one. There is no right and wrong answer to know when a song is finished. As a creative, I think we all can relate. It's a struggle, and it's the biggest one that a lot of us face. All right, so you've got your song. You've picked your DAW, you've written something, you were inspired, your song is finished. Let's get ready to put it out. We're going to work on your brand. So branding is very important, and it's something that a lot of musicians tend to put off until they've already started putting out work. I know I did. A lot of my songs are under my name. My first half of my catalog is under Jorge Aguilar II. You can still find it to this day. I didn't know good branding. But I've since worked on it and now become CK9C. My brand has evolved, and I feel it's pretty iconic these days. So when you see my logo, you're like, oh, that's CK. Stoops, you have a very iconic brand. How did you find your footing in that?
So, the main thing you can say about my brand, there are two things. There is orange and there is moustache and sideburns. So I was looking through all the other sort of channels in the nerdcore space to sort of come up with ideas. And I noticed that no one was orange. There were loads of blue theme channels and green and red and yellow. No one was orange. And orange happened to be my favorite color anyway. So I just drilled down hard into orange, and now I'm the orange one. And then I sort of absentmindedly just did sort of a little face logo of my silhouette of my sideburns and moustache. And then people just locked onto that. And I never intended them to be like a brand trademark, but people are protective of them now. If I shave them a bit short, I get messages like, don't shave them. Stop that. Stop shaving them. So yes, that's how the brand forms, sort of just around my face and my favorite color.
I love it, though. It's so you. You see it and you're like, oh, that's Stoops. I love that. And another artist who has such an iconic brand in this group is Chi Chi. You've been at this for so many years in so many different communities. How did you evolve your brand?
Because originally, the way I first started branding, my very first branding when I was just doing Hobby Goobity was I just used Yotsuba, who is this little manga character, and I just used that as like my icon for everything. Then when I moved into the pony scene, I made myself a little green horse with brown hair because I have brown hair. And so that's kind of how that started. And then over time, as I went to Tumblr and stuff like that, eventually I just started trying to make it look like me, which is usually I was wearing headphones all the time because I'm terminally online. And so I just had to put it with the headphones and a hoodie because hoodies are easy to draw. And so eventually it just kind of became more and more of like its own character. Like green's always been my favorite color. So then I just made it green. So I just made something easy to draw, representative of mostly more or less of what I look like, and then a little dash of new stuff, and then just stuff kind of evolves over time. And that's how you get this.
Hell yeah. Whenever I see green and your shade of like orangey hair, I'm like, oh, that's Chi Chi. Easy. Plus your iconic headphones. Very iconic. Our other musicians here on stage, they're in the evolving process as we speak with their brands, and it's so fun to watch as they've grown just so tremendously in the past year. One is Whispers. You are incredible at this.
Definitely.
How
Thank
have
you.
you,
Yeah,
have you been enjoying your growth from your brand evolution?
I've been enjoying it. It's been difficult because, like, last year I released my debut album, and musically, it was all over the place. And if you're all over the place musically, it's kind of hard to I don't know, also visually brand yourself. But I feel like since the release of my single Foxboy this year, I kind of know what kind of direction I want to go into, like the more rockish, emo, punk, alternative, whatever. It's still kind of all over the place, but at least it's rock now. You know, it's rock. I like the red, I like the black, I like the yellow. It's an evolving process, but I'm in the middle of it, and it's going good.
Heck yes. Oh my gosh. And you have such an iconic sound too with your brand. I was listening to my Spotify Discovered this week, just working, and a song came on. I was like, wait, I know this voice. Oh, this is a Whispers song. Oh, so lovely. Sal, you're also having a beautiful emergence with your brand. How's that going so far?
It's going. I still have no idea how to brand myself, but I'm figuring it out slowly but surely.
Dude.
These new songs I'm working on right now are a little bit more aligned. The first songs I overwrote was just a very interesting direction. I just wanted to get out there and as fast as I could. And now that I had more time to like figure out like what I want, I'm honing into what my sound is supposed to be. So it's still an ongoing process, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so true and valid to be in an ongoing process. As we grow as individuals, so often does our brand. And I know the same can be said with WhenSnakesSing, who just did a major rebrand this year. Tell us about how that was, rebranding.
Yeah, rebranding. Well, I originally tried to like market my music to, I guess, the normies just as my human self, and I had a different YouTube channel with a different name, but then when I slowly started to open up as a furry and started like people seemed to like my music, I was like, screw it, I'll just completely brand myself as a furry musician. And yeah, last year I dropped I won't say debut album because I do have a debut album, but my second album, which is completely furry. And yeah, the escalation, like this community is awesome and super supportive. And yeah, I'm so excited to keep making music. And I don't know still what sound I want. I've done a bit of pop, bit of electronic, but my last few releases have been leaning to more the metal and rock and alternative metal, new metal. So we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah.
Heck yeah. I love seeing you grow into who you are every day. I recently did a collaboration with WhenSnakesSing. It's called I Bite Back, and that brings us into our next slide, collaborations. Collaborations are a great way to grow who you are, grow your audience, share your audience with other people, and try out new styles. And I know the same, given all these things can be said with all the collaborations that we've done. Chi-Chi has some great insight. Chi-Chi and Stoops have been amazing at doing really big collaborations lately. Chi-Chi's going to give us a quick tip on how to send your collab emails, how to reach out to someone.
If you were doing a cold collab email, the best way to go about it is be very succinct in what you want and show what you want. Say, hey, my name is da-da-da. I am working on da-da-da. And have an example of what da-da-da is. And then show some other examples of work you've done in the past and say, I would really love it if you could do this with me. Be very polite in it. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I'd love to hear back from you sometime sooner, whenever the best time's available for you. So just make sure that you're being aware of their time. Make sure that you're being polite and succinct and getting all the information you need without being overwhelming in the information.
Yes, don't just email someone and be like, hey, can I be on your song? Hey, do you want to collab? And that's it. Show them what you can do. Bring something that impresses them and gets their attention. Stoops, you've done a really big collab recently with your Unusual Cypher. How was that process getting all those different artists?
It was a long process, but it was really worthwhile. My content typically doesn't let me do collabs very often because it's very dependent on the music video, which is shot live action in my studio. And most of my music-y friends around the world can't get to my studio, so it prohibits me doing videos. But recently I decided to start doing cypher tracks with a whole bunch of musicians on, purely as an excuse to work with all the people I couldn't work with normally. And yeah, it was a really, really fulfilling process to finally get to work with so many people.
And the results show. It is such a fun song. The Muppet Cypher. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. All right,
good. It's so good.
Stoops touches on something really important. Collaborating across the world can be pretty tricky. Use Discord. I've collabed with a lot of these musicians on stage, as well as so many out there. And one of the biggest tools that we use to collaborate across the world in real time is Discord. Use your Discord calls. It's awesome. Take advantage of that system. All right. Getting heard. We all have gone through different methods of first getting your songs heard, but one of the most important things that kind of ties in together is finding your community. And me as a nerdcore artist and a furry, I'm in a number of communities, and when you're making content for a community that's really quality, often that community is going to capitalize on it. They're going to grab onto it and be like, this is good. Have you heard this? Have you heard this? And they're going to like it. They're going to share it. Find your community. Chi-Chi had a really fun approach to getting their stuff first heard when you were in the My Little Pony fandom. You want to tell us about that?
So way back in yonder years, I can't believe it's yonder years now, but what was that? Way back then, the way that a lot of people through the the brony community heard about stuff was this old website called Equestria Daily. And so, if something that you made, like music or art, whatever it was, whatever that fan content was, if it ended up on there, that became that thing's gonna get a lot of traffic very fast and a lot of eyes on it. And that's how a lot of kind of stuff was spread back then. And nowadays, it could be new avenues. It's usually through TikTok or Twitter or any of those kind of avenues. So it's kind of knowing where the stuff is getting spread and the quickest and largest way to spread it.
I know Stoops also had a similar approach when you started getting into fandom music of sorts. How did you first get heard?
So I'd been making sort of music, more comedy than nerdcore music for a while, and it was not getting traction at all. And I'd tried a couple of nerdy gaming tracks, again, not had much traction. But then Bendy and the Ink Machine came along, and I was an animator as a career at the time, just doing sort of music as a hobby. I thought, oh, well, this looks awesome. So I decided to sink about 18 months into fully animating a music video for a Bendy song I made. And I basically used the animation to lure in the people to the music. Yeah, that song, Find the Key, just did crazy well. And like I said, the fandom just gripped onto it and shared it. And that was the kickstart of my career, really. It was incredible.
And you all watching, I assume most of you are furries. And our three over here, we got WhenSnakesSing, Sal, and Whispers, have been doing a wonderful job capitalizing on their community and sharing their stuff. In fact, I found WhenSnakesSing and Sal just playing their music in Worlds one day. That's how I became such good friends with them and have fallen in love with their style. And Whispers, I found you from a friend who you had commissioned to do their artwork, to do your artwork, and I was like, wow, this is really good content. Finding your community is a great way to get heard. Share it with your furry friends. If you don't have a lot of furry friends, hang out in VR chat. Just play your stuff in Worlds. Often enough, you'll perk someone's ear. And they'll like it. We're going to speed on through because we want to make sure that we got enough time for questions and answers. But yeah, distribution. I forgot. Really quick, distribute your music. It's a great way to get it on Spotify, iTunes, Instagram. Make sure that it's getting claimed properly with TikTok. I use DistroKid. What do you all use? Stoops?
DistroKid again, yeah.
DistroKid.
Snakes?
DistroKid.
Sal?
I have a little private label.
Yeah, Sal's actually signed with a label. That's a really unique way of doing it. Whispers?
I only sell vinyls. Not okay, DistroKid.
But there are other ones. There's TuneCore. I also use CD Baby with my other catalog. Find a distributor that works for you. Yeah, Sounddrop is a good one too. All right. One of the things that they taught in music school, I think Whispers probably can attest to this too, is professors saying it is hard to make it in the music world. You're going to need a lot of hard work and perseverance. You cannot give up. But you're also going to need to be a little bit lucky. You're going to need to find yourself in the right place in the right time. But that won't mean anything unless you are ready to jump on those opportunities. I think all of us have our unique stories that we can go on about of finding ourselves in the right place. I just want to hear really quickly from each of you, is there a moment that you think really changed the direction of your career by just bumping into the right people and being ready. Stoops?
There was a moment a couple of years back where one of my songs, unbeknownst to me, went massively viral on TikTok. A song called The Fine Print. Someone uploaded it, and within like a few months, it had literally hundreds of thousands of TikToks using that sound, and suddenly traction on my channel when it got through to YouTube eventually blew up. So I had to jump on that very quickly and try and capitalize. It was just out of the blue, completely unexpected, and I couldn't be more grateful.
Oh yeah, when stuff blows up on TikTok, it can really change where you are in your career. Chi-Chi, have you found yourself in the right place at the right time?
Absolutely. That's basically what Addict was. Sylva approached me saying, "Hey, I got a Husband Hotel song. I want you on it. Do you know any male vocalists who would be great for this?" And it just happened to be a song about Angel Dust. And I was like, "Oh wait, I know the voice actor for Angel Dust." And so I approached them, and they said, "Hey," and I said, "Hey, would you like to be on the song?" They said, "Sure." And we confirmed it with Vipsy Pop. They confirmed it. It was all good. We got the song together. We got the song out. Vipsy really liked it. Vipsy was like, "Hey, can I make a music video for this?" We were like, "Sure." Year or so later, the music video comes out. It explodes. And then that kind of changed my life. Literally. It literally changed my life and my career. And now I'm here.
Yeah, just that music video alone is over almost 150 million views on YouTube. Absolutely crazy.
How good that project is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
With JT, can I tell the story, JT? Just really quick.
Yeah, you can.
I was playing music in Fur Hub one day, playing my favorite song, Welcome to the Black Parade, and I get through the intro, and I was like, man, I wish I had a guitar player to really jam out and play the rest. Dude speaks up from the crowd, "Oh, I can do it!" I was like, all right, let's hear what you got. Out comes WhenSnakesSing and just blows me away. And ever since then, we've been best friends and now collaborators, being at the right place in the right time, and boy, was he ready. I loved that, and that's been a great point in both of our music careers.
Yeah, remember, like, it was just that, and also, Luma Festival as well was a big one as well. But no, very, very appreciative, and and I get emotional thinking about it.
JT. Sal, do you have a stroke of luck moment?
Well, probably when I met you guys, honestly. It was you, and then it was Snuffles, and then it was just surrounding myself with a bunch of fantastic, creative people, and just helping everybody be inspired to just continue moving forward. That type of energy is contagious, and it just helps me just keep on keeping on, because I know I have good positive feedback, and it just kept moving. It kept pushing me forward, and that's why I'm here. So,
and
thank you.
Such tremendous growth you've had in just the past year. Being in the right place, even in VR chat. Be here, play
VR.
your music, busk. VR is huge. It's a great
I would
tool.
not be here if it wasn't for VR.
Oh, same. Whispers, do you have a stroke of luck moment?
I do, but I don't want to tell that story right now. I want to say that this thought of, okay, shit, I have to be prepared and I have to jump on these opportunities can be really scary. Because it's a lot of pressure to put on yourselves, but I feel like the way I deal with it. So you always have two choices, okay? So you have a gig, and then all the musicians stay for another beer, okay? So you have the choice: do I go home? Do I stay for the beer? And it's fine if you go home. That's okay. Just be aware of the consequences. Like, you might not meet some people, or you might, not do this and that. If you choose to stay, then you get the consequences of staying. Like, it's a choice, and the choice is in your hands. Don't pressure yourself.
That's right. It's okay to say no to opportunities. It's okay to say yes. You are the deciding. All right. We're getting to an important slide. This is for our advanced levels now. You're starting to make some money with your music. Or, really, that first part, you need to put out your music and you need some album artwork. Commission people. There are artists everywhere in this furry community, whether they're your friends or people that you watch and subscribe to. Reach out. Get some great artists. For me, I've started to commission a lot of animators and now commission people all over the world to make my music videos and my live action ones too. Stoops has done a tremendous job that I admire growing their team. Stoops, your past video that you just finished recording, how many people are working on that one?
So right now, just a few of us left doing the post-production, but during filming, we shot it a couple of weeks ago. I had a team of about 14 people on the shoot who I had to bring in and hire to run the shoot. Yeah,
That's
I had
amazing.
about five or six extra cast members, director of photography, a production designer, a makeup artist, 2 production runners, and I think a couple of other people. It was a big team. It was a lot to keep track of and also be performing at the same time.
Oh man, I can only imagine. That sounds like so much to do. But I'm sure the result's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And Chi-Chi, you've been doing a great job as well over the years growing your team as you've started to make this into a full-time career. You've been careered how many years?
I'd say I started, I guess, since 2014, really. That's about
Wow.
when I started really taking it seriously, and that's when I got my first, hey, you're allowed to monetize stuff thing. And I was like, I guess I can do this now.
Heck yeah. So when you started growing your team, what was the first, people that you commissioned?
Honestly, it was friends. I'm sure probably everybody in the audience right now knows at least 1 or 2 friends who does artwork, whether it's just as a hobby or as a main income thing. Reach out to your friends. Reach out to the people around you. I guarantee you, absolutely guarantee you, there is someone within your network of people you know, friends, family, who does artwork, who wants a commission, who wants to be able to do some art. Go to them.
I will say, half the people on that
Definitely.
team I just mentioned were friends and people I've met via friends. The people you can find if you just look. It's incredible, the number of talent out there.
Exactly.
Oh, tremendously. I know the same can be said with my Los Angeles team who work on my live action videos. They're all just friends that I knew since college. Crazy how that stuff can pan out. Contracts. We'll quickly touch upon this. There are plenty of copy and paste contracts that are free for you to use that you can Google, whether it's work for hire, so you own all the rights to the work in the end, or if you're paying someone for commercial rights to their artwork or their animations, there's a plethora of contracts to use. Use them. It's a great thing, and it protects you. We want to protect that tail. But I won't go on too much about contracts because we can have a whole year-long class about contracts. But that touches into the right people. When you're growing your team, when you're looking for people to work with, you want to find the right people and trust your instincts. If you feel like, yeah, this person, they make great art, they've got great reviews, everyone raves about them, I'm going to work with them. And be that person, too. Be the right person that somebody wants to work with. Be good to the people around you, because the creative community's pretty tight-knit, and word spreads, so be nice. Be a good person, and just be the right person. And that gets us into our last slide before Q&A. Pay your taxes! The slide nobody wants to talk about. While tax fraud is a funny meme, it is not a funny actual thing to do. Don't do that, okay? As a creative, once you start making money, you are self-employed. Set aside money with every paycheck. The way I would suggest, open a separate savings account. 30% of every paycheck you get, put it into that savings account and don't touch it. So you know you have all the tax money that you need at the end of the year. Now, our friends in different parts of the world, you all have different tax rates. I think you all do it a little bit differently, but I know you all pay your taxes. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My hands are mixed.
sure I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's a part you don't want to think a lot about in the creative process.
But it's important to
It
do.
can ruin the mood.
It's important
but
to do.
It's very important to do. All right. It is time for our favorite part. And since we only have about 5 minutes left, what we're going to do is we're going to source as many questions as we can from the Twitch chat. If you have questions right now, type them into the Twitch chat. After our 5 minutes is up of answering questions, I am also simultaneously streaming right now on my Twitch channel. I'll type in the Twitch chat. You can click over to my channel if you have any more questions. We will be live on that channel for an extra 30 minutes answering some more questions. So go on over to the Furality Twitch chat right now and start typing in those questions. We're going to have one of the Furality team help source them. So, Lorry, do you have any questions lined up? Our tails wag with anticipation.
The wags intensify. What if we all do like different elevator music at the same time and it becomes obnoxious?
Oh, somebody asked a really good one.
great.
Hold on, I just saw this one. AlphaGen23 asks a question that I get asked all too often, and I know you all do too. When it comes to making a song, do you start with lyrics or start with the instrumental? Me personally, I'm either or. Sometimes it comes all together. Sometimes, most of the time for me, it's instrumental. What about you, Stoops?
Generally, it's instrumental. Either I'm hiring someone to compose an instrumental or I'm buying a pre-made one from a producer. So either way, I will probably use a pre-made one, write to that, and then if I'm having an original one commissioned, I'll send that one to them and say, hey, this tempo and this key, write something that I could use these lyrics over. But yeah, always music first before lyrics.
Heck yeah. All right, just raise your hand. Who starts with instrumental more often? Who starts with the lyrics more often?
Lyrics with a melody. Lyrics with a melody.
Ooh, yeah,
I always
lyrics
have
with
a
a
melody
melody.
when I'm doing lyrics.
Sometimes I'll have like
Man,
lyric
there are-
ideas for I've got an instrumental, but I won't go in detail. I've got the beat to write to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of good questions y'all are asking. It's getting hard to choose. Yes?
Well, for me, it usually starts off with like a melody and a bunch of gibberish until it gets to a certain part, like where a chorus line, and then there's a few words that stick, and then it sort of becomes a puzzle piece where it just like everything sort of fits in together, and then the story appears, and then like, okay, we got a story, and then yeah, but usually a melody is played under there.
I feel that one. Here's a really nice
I actually
question,
start-
too. Oh, yeah.
I start with emotional pain and then I go into the music.
Yeah. Valid.
Let me write this down.
Impudicitia, I'm going to call you Imp. They ask, how do you balance putting yourself out there without shoving your content down people's throats? Oh man, that's a little hard. I don't know.
Great question.
Does anyone have a good tip on this one? Because there definitely is a balance.
I think I have something too.
Go for the whispers.
I feel that because it can be like hyper cringe to constantly promote your music on the socials. But I feel like if you do it in an honest way and you kind of, joke about it, be proud of it. If you don't make it cringe, it's not cringe. I think if you do it honestly, nobody will hate you for it.
That's very valid.
Yeah,
I love that. I think that answers it perfectly.
All right, 1 minute.
Yep. Do we have one last question, Lori? Do you have any good ones, or should I find another one?
Yeah, I've got a question here. One on the Discord. So
Ooh,
Manu8 asks, should one focus more on mastering playing instruments of choice, or being good enough on those to record something and focus on learning a DAW and mixing methods instead?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I
40 seconds
go
to
with
answer
the second one. I just do as best as I can and focus on the production. What about you, Sal?
Yeah, no, I would absolutely do not master anything. I have hit the ground running. I continue to run. I don't even know how to produce properly yet. I'm still figuring that out. I just have a lot of help, and I ask a lot of questions, and I just trust my little seed I've grown. I'm like, it's a good song. It deserves to be made.
I don't think any musicians
Anyone else?
mastered anything before they start out. I think everyone's learning as they go. So trying to master something before you start is, just inefficient. Learn as you go.
Just
More like
do it.
perfectionism.
Yeah, just do
Just
it. I
do
love
it.
that.
Go for it. Just do it. Don't wait for anything. You can always improve, but start. That is the most important thing. Just start.
All right. This was such a good panel. Okay, I'm so sorry that we don't have more time, but like I said, I am right now in the Twitch chat. I'm going to say hi. Click over to my channel. We are going to be live streaming on my channel for another 30 minutes, sourcing more questions. So please, if you have more, pop on over there. We'll love to talk with you a bit more. And we may even open up an instance after this for some of you all who are at Furality if you want to come say hi and meet and greet some of these amazing artists. But I hope you all have enjoyed Furry Musicians from Hobby to Career. Thank you, Furality, for having us back another year. Again, thank you to Stupendium, Chi-Chi, WhenSnakesSing, Sal, and Whispers. Real quick, where can we find your music? Just say your artist name. Whispers?
Whispers, WHSPRS. No vowels, because I hate vowels.
Alex Gray, Graey, and the A has a little circle on top of it. I know it's weird, but it's Graey. Alex Gray. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
You can find me at the Stupendium, Stupendrum. It's a dumb word, but that's it. The Stupendium.
It's your word. It's beautiful.
It's my word, damn it.
CHI-CHI, chi and chi, or chi and an A and an I at the end for a lot of my socials and stuff like that. But you'll usually find me if you just type in Chi and YouTuber, otherwise you get Dragon Ball.
Valid. And WhenSnakesSing?
When snakes sing. 3 words, 1 syllable
All
each.
one word. Wait, is it
all
one
one
word on
word, yeah,
Spotify?
sometimes. No, 3 separate words. On VR chat, when
separate
snakes sings,
words.
all lowercase, 1 word. But on Spotify, when snakes sing, capital W, capital S, capital S.
Perfect. And my name is CK9C. You can find me anywhere. Again, we are going to be live streaming on my channel for an additional 30 minutes. Pop on over if you have any more questions. I'm going to say hi one more time in the chat if you want to click on over to my channel. Thank you again, Furality. We will see you around.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Join the stream. More Q&A.
Bye.